What is it, Papa?
Put on by Cincinnati natives and childhood friends Paige Braley and Logan Moore.
Okay, where are
They
you?
launched a matchmaking event series for people who have grown sick of swiping for dates and are looking to connect in person.
It seems like the millennials are the ones who they make up the bulk of our events.
Yeah, I think there's a perception that Gen Z and younger millennials are just married to their phones. What does that look like from your perspective?
Where to go to start the walk?
Guilty as
Remember?
charged, right?
That being said, I think we've also kind of gone through the burnout of it. Millennials, people between 29 and 45, were the first to get on dating apps and the first to get awesome.
Later.
Gen Z, the generation between the ages
Bye-bye,
of
Broody.
18 and 28, use the apps even less. So now there's this craving and this yearning for just kind of this, rather than we're just connecting face to face with other humans. At these events, anywhere between 50 and 800 singles show up, all with a common goal, and without the ability to hide who they really are, like some people do online.
You meet them in person and then it's like, oh, well, we actually have nothing in common, or you're not who I thought you were.
Bumble, a once popular app, has lost
I think it.
90% of its value since going public 4 years ago, while in-person events are increasingly popular, with attendance rising by 42% from 2022 to 2023.
It's probably awkward just acknowledge that it'll be awkward and just go with an open mind and who knows, maybe meet someone who goes for school and goes well.
Carly and Ross are among the many date-cincy couples that the group counts among their success stories of love at first sight.
I knew within the first month that I was going to marry her.
And you can't create chemistry in that sense. That happens face to face.
Correct.
Right.
Correct. It's just part of the human nature. You get filled with passion, you get filled with excitement and energy because you feel that chemistry.
With no swiping or filters, turns out there's plenty of room for real engagement and even a ring. For Eye on America, I'm Lina Luciano in Cincinnati, Ohio.
What's old really is new again. He was the first Latino to win a Grammy. We'll remember Eddie Palmieri next.
If you have heart disease and struggle with LDL-C, even with statins and diet, listen to your heart. Talk to your doctor about Repatha.
Repatha plus a statin lowers LDL-C by 63%. Do not take Repatha if you're allergic to it. Serious allergic reactions can occur. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Common side effects include runny nose, sore throat,
Let's see.
flu or flu-like symptoms, back pain, high blood sugar, and redness, pain, or bruising at the injection site.
There you
Ask
go.
about Repatha.
Limo Limo at your service. Here to help you save hundreds by customizing your car insurance with Liberty Mutual. Probably should have gone the other way.
Only pay for
Liberty, 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 liberty.
I'm Jordan, and these are my breasts. We've been through some big changes. Divorce,
Okey-dokey.
comprehensive. And as my next chapter began, metastatic breast cancer. Then I learned about Kisqali, a pill that stops cancer from growing and can help me live longer. Since then, I drove cross country, finished a degree, and finally saw my favorite band. Kisqali, an aromatase inhibitor, is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative metastatic breast cancer. Kisqali may cause serious skin reactions, liver problems, and low white blood cell counts that may result in serious infections. Life-threatening lung problems and abnormal heartbeats can occur. Your doctor should test your heart and blood before and during treatment. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening cough, chest pain, or dizziness. Before taking Kisqali, tell your doctor all your medical conditions, medicines you take, and if you're breastfeeding, pregnant, or planning to be, as it can harm an unborn baby. Common side effects include nausea, headache, and
Bye-bye.
diabetes. I'm more than just breast cancers, and I have a lot more to go.
It looks like an ordinary staircase, but as you age with a discomfort that can feel like stabbing, and pins and needles in your hands and feet, sometimes stairs can bring worry. As a retired physician, I've seen it in my patients, but I didn't truly understand it until I got over myself. So now, I take Nirvana.
Nirvana reduces occasional nerve
Yo.
discomfort. It combines neurotropic B
Ninja.
vitamins with a clinically studied amount of ALA, which reduces occasional nerve discomfort in as little as 7 days. In your hands and feet. Nirvana comes from the makers of the world's #1 nerve care brand.
With Revive, I'm sleeping great, and my days start with less occasional burning in my hands and feet. I'm moving through my house. with
Okay, so
confidence,
not yet.
And
Alright.
I'm getting around town. Getting older happens. But living with occasional nerve discomfort doesn't have to. like I do, and get your freedom back.
Find Nervive at these retailers near you. Feel confident with Nervive.
With less burning, itching, and pain from moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Imagine being a million miles away. With Trifine,
Let's go.
skin is possible. Most people start 100% clear skin that stay clear, even at 5 years. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or the vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Ask your doctor about Trifine.
That is Azuka by Eddie Palmieri. The band leader, composer, and pianist died yesterday at his home in New Jersey. Palmieri was one of the founders in the early 1960s of salsa. Though he preferred the term Afro-Cuban or Afro-Caribbean, Palmieri described himself as a Puerto Rican of Italian descent. Born in Spanish Harlem, he grew up in the South and took the subway to Carnegie Hall for piano lessons. Palmieri was known as the madman of salsa, pounding the keys with his arms and elbows. His band Perfecta replaced trumpet with trombones, which became its deeper signature sound. 1975 brought the first of 8 Grammys for the Son of Latin Music, the first Grammy ever for Best Latin Recording. The National Endowment for the Arts named Palmieri a jazz master. He was fond of saying, "I don't guess I'm going to excite you with my band. I know it."
Okay.
Eddie
Never mind.
Palmieri was 80.
Mm.
And that is the CBS City News for tonight. I'm Maurice Dubois. Kelly O'Grady is sitting in for John Dickerson on Evening News Plus, streaming soon on CBS News 24/7. Have a good night.
Every great performance starts with a great night's sleep. Thanks to New Nature, Sleep and Restore. Just maybe. When you're on the field, you're playing for your fans. At home, you're playing for your family. My playbook, read labels, keep it allergy friendly, and have an epinephrine nasal spray as a backup plan. What's she talking about?
Oh, really?
No mercy.
Mm.
In your face, dog!
That's the kitchen, Jason.
Okay.
Kitchen violation. Classic rookie move.
How much is that?
Dumb, but you dare listen to me.
Because when my family's safe from food allergens, that's the real picture.
Hola, with Leander now, only on KBNS.
Oops. Sorry.
President Trump's sweeping tariffs take effect. Americans now bracing for higher prices. The president imposing the highest tariffs in nearly a century on almost every U.S. trading partner. Dozens of countries now paying between 10 and 50% more to ship their goods into the U.S. President Trump insisted to reduce
Oh, okay. No problem.
but economists warning American buyers will likely
What's
pay
up?
higher costs on everything from food to clothing to electronics. Mary Bruce at the White House. The images coming in tonight of fiery mid-air scare on board a passenger jet over the Atlantic. A mobile charger catching fire.
Alright.
2 state troopers ambushed responding to it. Both wounded. One trooper applying explosive hits to another. What we
That's why I don't believe in psychics, guys.
the deadly crash of a helicopter into a barge on the Mississippi River. At least 2 people killed. Part of the river
Sure,
temporarily closed. 24 hours after the chaotic shooting at Fort Stewart, the Army Secretary awarding medals to 6 soldiers unarmed when they jumped into action, taking down the suspected gunman and treating the wounded. Overseas tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he's pushing forward with his plan to temporarily take control of Gaza, what this could mean for hostages still held by Hamas. Late today, President Trump pressed about his possible meeting with Vladimir Putin as early as next week, trying to end the war in Ukraine. After first suggesting Putin and President Zelensky must meet first, what he said just moments ago
Alrighty.
in the office. Multiple wildfires and record-breaking heat, temperatures up to 118 degrees in the West. Singer
Yo.
Chills, Kelly Clarkson's personal loss. Her ex-husband dying after battling cancer. Her Las Vegas residency postponed so she can be with her children. And a new study on weight loss drugs. Is a daily pill more effective than the weekly shot?
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Hero.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday night. I'm Wade Johnson in for David. And we begin tonight with President Trump's sweeping new tariffs that took effect at midnight. The highest tariffs in nearly a century on dozens of countries, almost every U.S. trading partner. American business owners and consumers now bracing for the effect. In the Oval Office today, the president touting the economy under his presidency, and the White House insisting the tariffs will boost U.S. manufacturing. But tariffs are beginning to put a drag on business earnings, from Caterpillar to Black & Decker to Hershey, and that's bringing down stocks. The Dow closing down 224 points. And for everyday Americans, tariffs could cost the average household $2,400 a year, according to economists. The price of imported produce could rise 7%. A new car could jump almost $6,000. Correspondent Mary Bruce leads us off.
Tonight, American business owners and consumers bracing for impact. With President Trump's tariffs on nearly every U.S. trading partner snapped into place, the highest tariffs in nearly 100 years. The president posting, it's midnight. Billions of dollars in tariffs are now flowing into the United States of America. Those new tariffs ranging from 10 to a staggering 50%. Leaving small business owners like Marcia Campos, who owns the Brazil Market and Butcher Shop in Marietta, Georgia, scrambling.
It's pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie. I am a little bit apprehensive what the next steps will
Oh,
be.
okay, cool.
Making transitions. Craig Pitteri owns Craig's Coffee in Detroit. He says he has no choice but to pass along higher prices to his consumers.
I was absorbing that cost at first, but now I'm actually increasing prices and slowly moving those costs to my customers.
The tariffs are paid by companies importing products, but economists warn these costs will likely be passed on to consumers. Americans could pay more for everything from electronics and toys to clothing and furniture. Fresh produce prices are expected to rise 7%. The average price of a new car could jump by $5,800 in the short run. By one estimate, the tariffs could cost the average household $2,400 a year. While it could take time for families to feel the effects, tonight companies worldwide are already reporting record losses because of the tariffs. Japan-based Toyota says it expects a $9.5 billion hit to its profits from the U.S. tariffs. And American cosmetics company Elf Beauty reporting their profits fell 30% as new tariffs on Chinese imports took effect. But the president adamant his tariffs will boost manufacturing in the U.S.
Under the Trump administration, we're doing everything possible to make this the best place on earth to build a factory or grow businesses.
So let's get right to Mary Bruce at the White House. And Mary, beyond the tariffs today, the president also announcing major changes to Americans' 401k retirement plans.
With millions of Americans saving for retirement through a 401k could soon have the option of investing their money in private equity and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Of course, many of the top cryptocurrency firms invested heavily in President Trump's campaign, and his own family's crypto ventures
There you go.
could stand to benefit from this.
All right, Mary, thank you. Now to the midair scare on a transatlantic flight. A passenger's mobile charger sparking a fire. The crew racing to put it out in the dramatic new video just coming in tonight. Here's ABC's Mola Langu.
More language?
Panic and chaos over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean after a fire erupted on a KLM flight from Sao Paulo to Amsterdam. Brazilian officials say it was sparked by a passenger's mobile charger. You can hear frantic passengers as crew members rushed to try to extinguish the fire as smoke filled the cabin, with some on board covering their faces with pillows and towels to protect themselves. The crew finally able to put out the fire.
Already.
And that flight
Six.
leave passengers breaking out in applause.
And Wade, if you ever wonder why airlines always ask passengers to remove and to keep their lithium batteries with them in the cabin and not in their checked luggage, well, this is why.
An important reminder, Mola Langu.
Oh.
Hey!
We moved
Yo.
on to the deadly crash of a helicopter
Ah,
into a barge
okay.
on the Mississippi
All right.
River. At least 2 people killed. Part of the river and a nearby bridge temporarily shut down. Here's ABC's Morgan Norton.
What's up?
Tonight, 2 people are dead after authorities say this helicopter clipped a power line and crashed into a barge on the Mississippi River, north of St. Louis.
It's exploding right now. It's exploding right now.
The chopper catching fire, smoke billowing into the sky.
The Coast Guard received a report of a helicopter crashing and landing on a barge. All vessels requested to maintain a sharp lookout, assist if possible.
All of a sudden, it touched the line, and in 2 seconds, it wasn't a helicopter anymore. It was 1,000 people.
The crash happening around 11 a.m., prompting a massive response. Officials shutting down river traffic and closing part of the
Got it.
Lewis and Clark Bridge.
There are hazardous materials, including propane, on the barge and electrical lines in the water.
Officials evacuating the immediate area. A local electrical contractor confirming to ABC News the helicopter was assisting with repairs to a tower when the crash happened.
And with the NTSB says it is now investigating.
Now we could begin.
The contractor is cooperating. Authorities say no one was injured on the barge during that crash. With
Morgan Norwood for us tonight. Thank you. Now to northeastern Pennsylvania. 2 state troopers ambushed and both wounded while responding to a call. One trooper applying a tourniquet to another. What we've just learned about the alleged shooter. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Aaron Katursky.
Tonight, 2 state troopers ambushed and shot in northeastern Pennsylvania.
State Road 1, 31 Township. Stage out on the scene. One gunshot victim.
It happened just after 11 a.m. in Susquehanna County when the troopers responded to a woman's call for help during a domestic dispute, and they immediately came under fire.
Upon their arrival, they were immediately fired upon and ambushed. They are very lucky to be alive.
Troopers Joseph Perchinsky and William Jenkins were airlifted to the hospital after a man shot at them with a rifle. Perchinsky put a tourniquet on his partner, who officials say was shot in the chest and back. Tonight, the governor praising the troopers' actions.
He acted decisively, he acted thoughtfully, and the work he did today exemplifies the absolute best of the Pennsylvania State Police.
When the gunfire stopped, police said the woman and the armed suspect were both found dead. And we've just learned Whit, an EMS worker, was also injured in the chaos tonight. Those 2 troopers are stable. The governor lauding them for running toward danger. Whit.
Aaron Katursky, thank you. 24 hours after that mass shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia, the Army honoring 6 soldiers for their heroic actions during the attack. All of them were unarmed. The Army Secretary saying that fast action absolutely saved lives from being lost. ABC's Faith Abubakar reporting from Fort Stewart tonight.
At Fort Stewart today, Army Secretary Dan Driscoll honoring the men and women who jumped into action to save lives when investigators say a fellow soldier opened fire on the base, wounding 5 of their own.
They were unarmed and ran out and tackled an armed person who they knew was actively shooting their buddies, their colleagues, their fellow soldiers.
Sergeant Turner the Army Secretary embracing Sergeant Aaron Turner, who confronted and disarmed the accused shooter. 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford seen here being transferred to jail after his arrest. Sergeant Turner saying Radford claimed he wasn't going to hurt fellow soldiers and that he was focused on leadership.
Starting into programming soldiers is pretty much done with leadership.
He was dealing with leadership and he wanted to go home. Turner says he grabbed the suspect and disarmed the guns and with the help of another soldier, stopped him from reloading. Was there a struggle?
Yes.
Now we go back.
He was fighting back. Other soldiers ran toward the gunfire to treat the wounded.
I looked up and the soldier saying that he shot. Immediately put the fire on the ground, took the top off, trying to stop bleeding.
Tonight, the Army says they're continuing their investigation into Radford and how he allegedly got a personal gun inside Fort Stewart. Sergeant Turner says he saw no warning signs. Did you consider him a friend?
Yeah. As far as the interactions, I've never seen anything wrong with him. He's always a happy go lucky.
And Red Army investigators are drawing up charges against the accused shooter. He's likely to be transferred into a military facility. Meantime, 2 of the victims remain in the hospital, but all 5 of them are expected expected to make a full recovery. Which
Encouraging news there. Faith Abube, thank you. Next tonight, a major escalation in the war in Gaza. Prime Minister Netanyahu saying Israel intends to take control of all of Gaza temporarily and eventually transfer control of it to Arab forces. ABC's chief foreign correspondent Ian Pannell joins us now from Israel. And Ian, what could these comments mean for ceasefire negotiations and the remaining hostages?
Yeah, well, this is a significant and controversial decision, and it flies in the face of international and domestic opposition. Expanding the war to occupy all of Gaza ends any short-term hopes for the ceasefire, and it means hundreds of thousands of people being forcibly relocated in the midst of what most concede is a humanitarian crisis. Military leaders fear it could take months and risks Israeli forces becoming bogged down with no clear exit strategy. There have been widespread demonstrations here in Israel against the plans this evening, and the families of hostages still being held in Gaza condemning the move, saying it'll endanger the lives of their loved ones.
With Ian Pannell, thank you. Now to that developing headline on a possible face-to-face meeting between President Trump and Vladimir Putin. The White House today appearing to change course on the conditions of that meeting. Late today, President Trump saying it does not need to include President Zelensky. Let's get right to Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz. And Martha, what more are you learning?
One moment, guys.